Good Tuesday afternoon. My name is Jerry Miller. Welcome to the I Love CVille Show. We're live in Charlottesville, the Commonwealth, the country, and the world on the I Love CVille Network. Give the show a like and a share. Give it a like and a share right now. Hammer that like button. Do us that favor. A lot of news we're going to talk to. 2 fantastic interviews, some crystal ball predictions, a little college football, a little politics, little business, little goodwill, little positivity. 60 minutes commercial-free of content that makes you smarter in Charlottesville and Central Virginia. Some headlines we'll talk about. Emergency room doctor versus Greene County Police and a mask. That is the topic of conversation. $75 million for the Mount Ida estate. We talked about that last week. Traditional media reporting about that yesterday. Visitor centers are now going mobile. Yes, a mobile vehicle for visitor centers. How will that impact tourism, travel, and events in Charlottesville and Central Virginia? Chesapeake school systems are talking about returning students back into schools, back into buildings in September. We have that story for you. Walmart is launching a rival to Amazon Prime. How will a Walmart version of Prime impact Charlottesville's business ecosystem? Loretta Lynn and Kid Rock tie the knot. Yikes, that's scary. No fans at Wake Forest football games. ACC will allow artificial noise for stadiums, and UVA and Virginia Tech kick off in 18 days in Blacksburg. Legit show lined up for you. I'm most excited for the interviews with Shaun and Crystal Napier and Scott Link. They are coming up in about 19 minutes on the program. Intrastate Pest and Service Company is a fantastic sponsor of the program. They are a home's best friend. Intrastate Pest and Service Companies proudly serving this community since 1969. Judah Wickhauer is our director. Again, my name is Jerry Miller. The first headline that caught my attention today was this little squabble between a Charlottesville UVA emergency room doctor and a Greene County Sheriff's deputy. Here is the nitty-gritty. Doctor was speeding through Greene County with her children in the back seat. Greene County's finest pulled the doctor over. The sheriff's deputy goes to the doctor's window, and we know when a policeman pulls you over for speeding, he's pretty close to you. He's certainly not 6 feet apart from you. How could he be? If he was 6 feet apart from you after he pulled you over, he'd be standing in the middle of the road and would be hit by a car. So he's just kind of trying to save his life and get as close to the vehicles as possible so he doesn't get hit by oncoming traffic. Long story short, this emergency room doctor from Charlottesville who was popped speeding in Greene County says the sheriff's deputy was not wearing his mask, and she's irked, she's perturbed, she's angry, she's frustrated. She threw her hands in the air and she went to local media and she said, "This is not right." Greene County's sheriff, he said nothing to the media besides the fact that he did confirm that he leaves the decision of wearing a mask up to his individual deputies. So before we go on to the next subject, I ask you this question. If you get popped for speeding, and you're breaking the law because you're going too fast, and a policeman comes up to your window to issue the citation, and said policeman is not wearing a mask, what goes through your mind? From a policeman's standpoint, the police says, hey, you don't want to be in this situation where you're having to interact with the deputy. Don't speed in Greene County. Don't speed with your kids in the back seat. All right, I'm going to cut to the chase and give you my opinion before we go to the next headline. I see both sides here. I see both sides. I see how the police says, look, you're talking about safety. You're going too fast with your kids in the seat. You're talking about safety. You're a doctor, and you're complaining about a deputy not wearing a mask and being close to you at a car when he's issuing a citation, yet you're breaking the speed limit, the legal speed limit with your kids in the back seat. I'd see it from the doctor's perspective. The doctor's like, hey, let's stop the spread of COVID. I see it. I'm in an emergency room. I see what COVID is doing to people. I see both sides. I'm going to cut to the chase. There's culpability on both. Should the sheriff's deputy be wearing the mask? Yes. Did the Thomas Jefferson Health District contact the Greene County Police Department about this? Yes. Should the emergency room police officer be speeding with their kids in the back seat? No. Have I done it? Yes. It's just a crazy time we live in. And I'm going to chalk it up to the uncertainty that is COVID-19, boys and girls. The next headline comes from a story we reported about last week. The traditional media now covering the story today. Mount Ida Estate is making the rounds at $75 million list price. The owner of the property, Tommy Sullivan, has put a whopping, according to the listing agent, $100 million into this property. So just off the top, just reading the tea leaves, the owner of the property put $100 million into it. The owner of the property is asking $75 million for the property. $100 million goes in, he's asking $75, he ain't gonna get $75. The property owner makes it seem like it's a bargain and he's taking a loss. This I do know about the property. It's 4,500 acres in Albemarle County. And the price of an individual acre in Albemarle County has value. Okay? And you put 4,500 acres next to each other, contiguous acres, and the value of that property goes up exponentially. Furthermore, the business produces $3 million a year in income from the tasting rooms, the event venues, the wedding venues, from the beer and wine sales, the food and beverage, $3 million a year in gross income for this particular property. It's got water slides, it's got pools, it's got river access. Hell, it's got a go-kart track. Okay? Will he get $75 million? No. Will the buyer be local? Most likely not. The few people that can afford a property of this magnitude, you can probably count on, I don't know, to 50, to 100, 100 people in the world that are going to drop $75 million on a property in Virginia. This ain't Los Angeles. This is not New York City. This is not Miami Beach. It's not Venice. It's not Sicily, it's not Italy, it's Paris. It's not Paris, it's Charlottesville, Virginia. So the fact that it's not in one of these marquee, sexy destinations like LA, New York City, Miami Beach, and the fact that it's asking $75 million and will set a Commonwealth record shows that very few people will actually be interested in purchasing a property of this magnitude. Regardless, it's important to follow. It's important to follow from a real estate standpoint, from a business standpoint, from a wedding and events standpoint. This is one of the marquee venues on the south side of Albemarle County. You know what I'm saying? So I'll follow it. I'll follow Sullivan's property. The listing agent, Daniel Hyder. 26 houses, a working winery, a brewery, event spaces, a go-kart track. I mean, dude, this is a bona fide place. It even comes with Budweiser Clydesdale horses who live on the property and give carriage tours. What a piece of property. I'm going to reach out to the agent, take a tour myself, of course not to purchase, just because I'm interested. I'll relay that perspective to you on the I Love CVille Network. It's pretty special. It's pretty special. The next headline, Judah Wickhauer, comes from the Charlottesville Albemarle Convention and Visitors Bureau. Did you see this headline? This headline was kind of buried. So CBS 19 talked about this. I'm going to give CBS 19 some props. CBS 19's picking up its game as it's trying to close the gap with NBC 29. CBS 19's picking up the game. The visitor centers are going to go mobile to the point that it's going to be a Ford Transit van. It's going to be branded the Ford Transit van to represent tourism. The van is going to go through the city, through the county, and it's going to literally try to interact with tourists and folks that are new to the area or visited in the past that don't know it as well. And it's going to bring the transit vehicle to where the people are at, as opposed to relying on the people to go to a tourism center and a bus station or a tourism center off the beaten path in Crozet, where Albemarle's tourism center is. Guys, I love this. I love this for Charlottesville. I love this for Albemarle County. I think this is undoubtedly the future. Burying tourism and welcome centers and bus stations, or hiding tourism and welcome centers in Crozet, downtown Crozet, is not smart. In fact, I would like the Charlottesville Albemarle Convention and Visitors Bureau to take it a step further. I would love to see mobile kiosks strategically positioned around the city in Albemarle County. A mobile kiosk, literally, why don't we go studio camera, Judah? Go studio camera for me now. I'm going to show you how simple a mobile kiosk can be. You're on the studio camera? Yes? All right. So, I'm going over here. You see this right here. If you're listening on Spotify, iTunes, or podcasts, Apple Podcasts, a huge benefit of this show is watching the visual component, either on ilovecville.com, the live component on Facebook, an abbreviated component on Instagram, or on YouTube. Okay, so you see next to me an iPad holder that could easily be converted into a mobile kiosk. This mobile kiosk could be strategically positioned across the downtown mall, in Midtown, on the corner, around Dairy Market and Dairy Central, and in strategically positioned spots in Albemarle County as well. Folks can then see the signage around the city of Albemarle County and interact with this thing like I'm doing now. In fact, this particular one helping us stream content to the beautiful televisions behind us. Folks, if we can do it, the city can do it. And if we can do it, Albemarle County can do it. And now is the time more than ever for our leadership in Albemarle and our leadership in the city to be entrepreneurial, to think outside the box, and basically run the municipalities like a businessman, like we do, okay? Because we're in a position, and Judah, you need to adjust this camera over here. Camera B, please. That's still set up for the previous show. We're in a position where we have to be entrepreneurial with what we do. And mobile kiosks can help this economy locally, and we need that help. But props to them for putting tourism and Ford Transit vehicles and bringing the centers to where the people are congregated. I love the idea. I think it's a start in the right direction. The next headline we want to get to is a macro headline, but it's a macro headline that will impact our micro market in Charlottesville. In fact, the next couple of headlines are tied to a company called Amazon that is annihilating brick and mortar across America. So Amazon, did you see this headline? Is opening an online grocery store in Brooklyn, New York. So this grocery store in Brooklyn, and give me the thumbs up, please, sir, when that headline is on screen. This online-only Whole Foods grocery store in Brooklyn, New York, will not allow customers in the door. It will only be a fulfillment grocery center for people who have purchased Whole Foods products through the Amazon app. Is that headline on screen, Judah?
Looking for it.
Okay. It's easily marked. It is the CNBC headline. Number 3, please. So basically, this is what's happening. Amazon has a grocery store model that is freaking exploding because of COVID-19 and this pandemic. This grocery store model and online ordering, Instacart, Walmart, Whole Foods, it's gone to a different level because people don't want to go inside stores now, and particularly grocery stores. So Amazon sees the marketplace going to an online model, and they roll out their first iteration of a grocery store in Brooklyn that you cannot enter, but it's used as a fulfillment center. The reason I bring this up to you is because Brooklyn is a beta test. If this goes well, and boys and girls, this is going to be incredibly popular. If this goes well, Amazon is going to roll out online-only grocery stores in markets across America. That's why the joint venture it had with Simon Property Group has a lot of folks on Wall Street thinking that Amazon is going to evolve and go down the grocery route with Simon Property Group. I also want to emphasize the groceries that are around our community. The Reed's grocery stores, right? The Foods of All Nations grocery stores, the locally owned grocery stores that we love to patronize. Please, 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 please create an online component of your business. Because in a 6 to 12 months, your competition is not just going to be the Harris Teeter or the Whole Foods or the Giant or the Kroger down the street, the Trader Joe's down the street. Your competition is going to be this. Okay? And as people gain experience using this to purchase produce and meats and dry goods and whatever they need to survive, and as this becomes more ubiquitous, trusted, and a part of our everyday life, this is where the market's going to go. Please improve your e-commerce platform locally, guys. The next headline, Chesapeake schools. Chesapeake schools are talking about returning back to school as early as September 14th. You heard me correctly. The school system in Chesapeake says numbers are trending in a positive direction for COVID. At a school board meeting on Monday night, administrators said they plan to bring back a small group of students as early as September 8th. They plan to bring back the majority of students by September 28th, including first, second, and third graders 5 days a week. There are 39,336 students in this school system. And by the end of the month, you can see many of them in the school systems in Chesapeake. My friends, the reason I bring this to your attention is because as school districts open across the Commonwealth for in-person education within buildings, and Chesapeake is one of the first to manage COVID and do this, this is going to put external pressure on school systems like Albemarle and the city of Charlottesville to follow suit and do the same. Everyone that's watching this program knows that children, as long as the environment is safe, everyone knows that kids will learn better in person amongst their peers. And if Chesapeake school system is going to have the majority of students back in the hallways, God willing, our Lord willing, that will put external pressure on the city and on the county and the school systems in Central Virginia to do the same. I will follow it for you on the I Love CVille Show. Give me your perspective in the comment section on Instagram, on LinkedIn, on Twitter, on Snapchat, on text message, or on Facebook comments, and I will relay your comments on air. Judah, let's let everybody know how they can save $288 on Ting Fiber Internet. I've been told by the folks at Ting that this offer is exploding. It is the lowest price for the best internet possible, but you have to do it through ilovecville.ting.com. I've done it. It's game changer. Back to Amazon, Judah. Walmart is freaking tired of losing the battle of e-commerce and online to Amazon. As a result, Walmart is rolling out a new platform called Walmart Plus. Walmart Plus is a more affordable membership, $98 a year, than the $119 a year I get for Amazon Prime. I want to say something quickly about Amazon Prime and the $119 I'm spending a year with Amazon. First of all, since COVID hit, the 2-day turnaround for packages through Amazon Prime, I'm not getting it. I'm not getting stuff in 2 days. So one of the value propositions of why I pay Amazon $119 a year, why I pay Amazon $119 a year, is to get my products that I order through their platforms immediately on my doorsteps. That's not happening now. I don't know about you guys, but I think Amazon Prime's content, the TV content that it puts on Amazon Prime, is at best maybe fourth or fifth from a streaming service. Number one is Netflix, right? I think we all are in agreement the top streaming platform is Netflix. This Disney Plus bundle, where it's Disney Plus and ESPN put together in one, that's a clear-cut number two and is really trying to challenge Netflix. I don't know if you're following NBC's streaming service called Peacock, but Peacock is amazing. I will put Peacock and the HBO streaming service in the 3 and 4 slot. That means Prime is at best number 5. Think about it. What shows do you watch on Prime? Do you watch any? You know the content is not as good as the rest. And we're not getting the packages in 2 days. It's making me second guess this Prime membership. Let's go to Walmart Plus. So Walmart Plus, many of the same features. They're going to give you some free shipping at $35 or more. Walmart Plus is going to give you a discount for gasoline. So they're going to compete against the Costcos of the world, the Sam's Clubs of the world, and get in the fuel business. Walmart Plus is obviously going toe-to-toe in the grocery business with Amazon. My fear and why I talk about this today on the show, the federal government and COVID-19 did this. They made Amazon Prime, and they made Walmart, and they made Lowe's and Home Depot essential businesses, and they blew these businesses up with customer engagement because these essential big box brands were the few options for us to patronize during COVID. What they also did was cause the demise of the small and medium-sized businesses, the locally owned businesses, who the federal government called inconsequential or non-essential. So Walmart and Amazon and Lowe's and Home Depot and the like, they get stronger in COVID, while the locally owned mom and pop gets weaker. My fear, my friends, my trepidation, my apprehension is that these brands, because of their scale, their market capitalization, and the obscene money they have on hand, will strangle, cannibalize, and step on the throat of the mom and pop. So it's up to us to keep our dollars in the community and local within the community so that does not happen. Now the marketplace has Walmart Plus as another option. Please keep your dollars local. Before we get to Shaun, before we get to Crystal Napier, two phenomenal people, one other headline that caught my attention that's absolutely terrifying, and I mean this tongue-in-cheek, is the nuptials, the marriage of Kid Rock and Loretta Lynn. Ay, mi madre chico. Look at the screen, look at the screen, look at the screen. Kid Rock and Loretta Lynn got married over the weekend. Tremendous age gap between Kid Rock and Loretta Lynn. Oh, Loretta, 88 years young. Kid Rock has had a full life. That full life, considerable amount of partying. These two musicians now married and call each other husband and wife. Think about that honeymoon. Think about what's going on between Loretta Lynn and Kid Rock on the honeymoon. Better yet, maybe don't. Crystal Napier is coming up. She and her husband, Shaun, on the I Love CVille Show. Crystal's second rodeo on the I Love CVille Show. Judah Wickower, it's ringing. We'll welcome Crystal and Shaun to the broadcast and just kind of catch up with them as things in their life are doing. I'm very excited to catch up with her and spotlight entrepreneurs that are making the community better. So, Crystal, if you hear the Skype, I'm ringing now. I'll hang up and try calling you back one more time. Scott Link, we will go to you of Rocket Coffee in T-minus 15 minutes, Scott. Scott's got a coffee shop that I think is absolutely fantastic in Midtown that you need to try. So, Scott's second rodeo. Crystal, we have her on the line now. You look fantastic, Crystal. I love that necklace. Shaun, you're dressed sharply. And I can only expect that, having Crystal as your beautiful wife. Judah Wickower, do I have the thumbs up to welcome them to the show? We do. You guys have a worldwide audience here. First, ladies first. Renee, if you could introduce yourself again to everybody that's watching.
Thanks, Jerry, and thanks for having me on. I'm channeling my Wakanda vibes is what I'm trying to give y'all today. I'm Crystal Napier. I'm the owner of Renee's Boutique, and I'm here back today. Thanks for having me on the show again with my husband. This is Shaun Napier.
Shaun, how about you? An intro for you, Shaun.
Hey, Jerry, how's it going? Just here, being in support.
Well, you're an amazing human being. Thank you for being here with us. Renee, the show is yours here. 2020. Give us some insight onto how everything's going with you, how you're managing. It's a time of uncertainty and vulnerability for all of us. March, I'll cut to the chase here. In March, I was terrified. I was not sleeping, just like all of us here. How about you, Renee? Show's yours.
It's been a challenging year, I think, for a lot of us small business owners and businesses in general. COVID-19 has created a different world for us all. I feel like I had to shift a little bit, which actually turned out to be a blessing to be able to offer COVID-19 supplies to my community, and also, equip some other businesses and nonprofits with the proper supplies to manage through COVID-19. Although, of course, that hurt my overall business, which is clothing.
Looking good.
Thank you. I produce clothing for the confident woman. And so, of course, with everyone quarantining and being at home, it has been a challenge. However, I feel like we are moving forward and learning how to safely move about. And it's time for us to, get up, get dressed, feel good about ourselves, look good. And that's part of my motto. If you look good, you feel good. So now I'm channeling through that, and I'm actually doing a end of season sale and offering a special extra discount to our teachers and administrators who are navigating somehow through this difficult challenge of getting our kids education and being safe as we go through this world of coronavirus. So the end of season sale is 20% off site-wide. The discount is automatically calculated at checkout. For our teachers and administrators, we are asking them to go like us on our social media platforms, which is Instagram and Facebook. They can do either, and it's Renee's Boutique LLC. And once they like it, just send me a message with your email, and you'll get an extra 20% off, up to 40% savings for teachers and administrators.
So much I want to throw to you here. So first, you mentioned earlier, and I love the lighting that you have here. I love this Zoom and Skype setup you have. I can tell you've been doing a lot of Zooming and Skyping over the last 6 months. This looks really, really good. It looks professional. Okay, Shaun is getting some props. All right, I want to give you some props. Talk to us about of creating did you do PPE? Is that what you were doing earlier in COVID with your business?
Yes. So I am a micro SWAM certified vendor with the state of Virginia. And so it allowed me to connect with different manufacturers that were offering PPE. And so I was able I've actually supplied a lot of items to local churches because they, needed the bulk items in order to have services and whatnot. And then I've gotten several calls from state agencies where I've been providing bids and getting them access to PPE, which is very, very needed right now.
That's awesome. So this is opening up potentially a new opportunity for you. How about what some of the stuff that you've figured out from the pivot that could be sustainable with your business moving forward? Because I feel like all of us, and I'll cut to the chase here, all of us that are still alive, right? And some of us are not still alive business-wise, unfortunately. But all of us that are alive at this point have learned a skill that could potentially stay within our business long term. How about for you? What have you been learning?
Absolutely. I mean, if you are going to stay alive, it's necessary to be innovative. You have to change a little bit, do maybe dibble and dabble into items that I never thought that I would be, making revenue off of selling PPE. That was never my intentions going into business. But I saw the need in the market. I saw that there's limited access to these items. And so I was like, okay, this is where I'm needed right now. So let me go over here and, give it a shot. And I will have to say, Shaun has been extremely supportive. He's actually, when all of this started, he was giving out flyers to local businesses for me to let them know, hey, if you need these items, my wife is the one you should call. So.
I love it. Shaun, let's get you in the mix. 2020 for you, sir. First, thank you for your service. It's important for me to say that. One of the things that stuck out from the interview with your beautiful wife was that she talked about how incredibly strong and supportive you are, and how in a lot of ways you're a rock for her. So I want to thank you for your service, sir. 2020 for you, open-ended, anywhere you want to go, Shaun. 2020 has been, I just want 2020 to be over. I don't know about you guys, but Shaun, 2020 for you, dude. Please talk to me.
2020 for me started off actually January 4th. I left to go to Afghanistan. So I was supposed to be there for a good little while, but due to COVID, I was able to come home early. So, I mean, you got to see the pluses and the minuses and everything. So that was a blessing because I was able to come home early and spend time with our newborn son. Well, he's a toddler now. And then also see my beautiful wife, Crystal, and then just jump back in the mix. It was a little challenging coming back because we had, I would say, better information and newer information about COVID when I was over there. And then when I got back over here, it was like everyone in the States were like a month behind. So they had to play catch up. So I was like, why isn't anyone wearing a mask? And of course, then the mask comes. So, but other than that, I mean, like Crystal said, she had to, in the Marines, we say you got to improvise, adapt, and overcome. And that's what she did with the COVID. Like I said, she was able to get PPE, personal protective equipment. I was actually able to send some back to my buddies in Afghanistan because it's a shortage worldwide. So I was able to send some to them. And then just like in the fashion industry, we're starting to see matching masks with with dresses. So that's another thing that's adapting to the new norm. It's a different, but it's not permanent. But you have to adapt to it. So that's one of the things that we're experiencing right now.
I love it. Good answer right there. Crystal, let me throw this to you here. So I like the following the national trends. One of the things that's come up with these Zoom meetings is folks are looking good on the Zoom meeting waist up, and they might be wearing shorts, pajama pants, in some cases nothing at all, waist down, and no one knows here. Talk to us. You're an entrepreneur, you're a visionary, you're a businesswoman here. Talk to us of where you think this market is going to go from a look and attire and a clothing standpoint. What are you thinking?
I'm seeing a lot of comfort wear, and that part is not new to Renee's Boutique. That's been a part of my mission since I started. I wanted ladies to look professional but be comfortable, and so I'm seeing a lot of palazzo pants, the short sets, and whatnot. But I feel like as we transition, professionally with having more Zooms, of course, as a personal stylist, I would recommend, moving towards something like I'm wearing, which is super comfortable. However, it's still giving me a nice business casual look. Yes. Thank you. But that's what I've been seeing and looking at for fall and the winter that's coming up. Lots of comfortable yet stylish and professional pieces, and you can always dress up pieces too. With a chunky necklace, chunky earrings. So you can play it up, but you can still look comfortable in your own home. I mean, still be comfortable in your own home and working from home.
I want to give you... Sure. Go ahead, please.
Well, I was going to just tag on to that because I'm not going to lie to you, Jerry. This is the first time I had on a button-down shirt.
You look good, dude. You look good.
That's the thing. You feel better when you look good. Just like the Crystal's tagline. I mean, people will get tired of wearing bedroom shoes and pajamas. They want to look good. They want to feel good. So people are going to dress up again, even if they're sitting at their own home in front of their mirror. I mean, that's how you feel. And I remember watching back on the news, people were fighting over because they couldn't go to the hair salon. And so it's going to be the same with clothing. You want to feel good. You want to look good.
I agree 1,000%. Everybody's like, why are you always dressed up all the time? Why are you wearing blazers? Because I feel good about myself. And when I feel good about myself, because I feel like I'm looking good here, that radiates through all aspects of my life. And I think that's what she's talking about as well. How about this? COVID-19, one of the things that I remember from our interview, Crystal, was you were talking about, business. You were talking about trends. You were talking about social justice. You were talking about affordable housing. I mean, you have a lot to say. You are a brilliant woman. You have a lot to say here. COVID-19 seems to me to be unfortunately increasing this wealth gap in our community countrywide. What are trends that you're seeing that we need to spotlight, we need to get ahead of because we may not like the direction they're going, or trends you like seeing happening that are positive that we should champion even more?
Mm-hmm. I definitely see that COVID-19 has increased the already what was existing of a wealth gap in our society. It's a very challenging time for so many folks. But I do feel like in this climate of COVID-19, in this climate of a huge vision of racial inequality, like it's in our faces, the positive side, I would say, I feel like it's bringing the truth out. It's putting it in the forefront of everyone's faces. And it's like, you can't deny it anymore, that this is a problem for all of us and that everyone has to step up to the plate to make a difference, to change things for our children, for their children. And that the ugliness and the underlining of things that this country has been built on it's right here at us. Like you can't beat around the bush anymore. And it's time for us all to truly, take a look in the mirror and see how we can, as individuals, change and make a positive impact for our families, for our communities, and see how we can work together and just have compassion and kindness for each other as human beings.
What do you think, Shaun? Great take.
Yeah,
great take.
COVID doesn't care what your race is or what your wealth is. I mean, it's going to hit you if it's going to hit you. And the only way you can do is just do the little things to protect not just you, but the people around you also. Crystal hit all the nails on the head with the. I let her do all that talking for me. I just take the credit, but I'm just. COVID is going to affect you whether you think so or not, and it doesn't care how much money you make or what color your skin is. So,
throw this question to you: How old's your Bambino?
He's 22 months.
Okay.
He'll be.
Remember when we were talking? Mine and yours right the same. How you guys holding up? 22 months is a tough little window, ain't it? I knew you were going to say that. Shaun, you look good, dude. You look like you're 26 years old, Shaun.
He is a handful. He's at the fun age, though, but he's a handful. And fortunately, he just started kindergarten because with COVID, he couldn't. No.
Not kindergarten.
Preschool.
But no, unfortunately, with COVID, he couldn't see anybody, so he couldn't get that social interaction. So we chose to send him to preschool so he can get social interaction. So And it helps us out too, so we can breathe for like 5
Yeah,
hours.
you
maybe.
can have some sanity. My kid is like 2.5 years old, and it is the best, hardest thing ever. But some days it is so brutal. It is so brutal. But then some days the guy comes up to me and he says, "I love you, Daddy," and I just melt. And then I'm like, okay, I just need more "I love you, Daddies." I mean, for you, what is it like, Mama? I mean, you are a businesswoman, you're a mama, you're a leader. How are things going with motherhood for you?
I will be very honest with you. At the beginning, Micah, he burst my heart wide open. But I was so exhausted at the beginning of this year with Shaun being deployed, and trying to manage my business, and he was not in preschool. I thank God though, for my cousin. Her name is Shayna. She came in and helped me out with him. So that gave me a little bit of relief. But it was a challenging time. And I mean, he's at, they're at that age where they want to explore everything. They're so curious, getting into everything. So it's like you have to be watching them all the time. And that was extremely challenging. So I'm glad that, he is in preschool now. It was very hard on me, that transition right there. Oh, I was a wreck that first week. I mean, Micah, after a couple of days, he was good, but Mama, it took her some time, and I can't fully say that I'm still over it, because I wanted to, I had that feeling of where I wanted to do it all. I want to be a full-time mom, and I want to be a full-time business owner, but it's like, how do you?
There's not enough
can't
hours.
Realistically. Exactly. Yeah. Exactly.
Yeah. So I say this on the show here. After seeing my little boy come out of my wife, and then after seeing my wife and everything she's doing for our business while raising our little boy, women and moms are literally the most badass superheroes on the planet. Women and moms. Like, I cannot do what and I'm getting choked up. I cannot do what my wife does. I sometimes I look forward to going to work. I'm going to cut to the chase, okay? And that's not because I don't love my son, but it's like, you know what I mean. I look forward to going to work. All right, can I throw this to you? I absolutely love you, Crystal. We're a platform of hope. We're a platform of hope. We understand that this is a scary time. We're realists, but we're hopeful, cautious optimists. How about a message of hope for everyone that's listening, Crystal?
I say just have compassion for one another. Like we're all trying to figure everything out at this point. It's so many unknowns. And if we just take that moment to truly try to have empathy for each other, regardless of what your background is, I really feel like we would be in a much better place. And just remember that, God created absolutely every single one of us equally.
Shaun, you did well with this lady right here. You did really well with this lady right here, Shaun.
Thank you.
She's amazing. You're amazing. And Crystal, this setup is so good. The lighting is so good for this setup. I mean, I legitimately would be like, good job, Shaun. Good job. I can see how, like, are you showing them the outfits? You trying them on? You give us an idea of the experience here.
Yeah, so I actually set it up on my website where people can schedule virtual styling sessions with me. So they can actually get a one-on-one session with me, and I can show them the clothing. I will talk about each piece because, of course, I know each piece. I know how they're going to fit. And if we explore what's going to fit them and what's going to look best on their body type. And, Shaun is my technical guy. He always is willing to set up things for me. But I also would like to thank my circle because it's because of the women that shop with me, my family, my friends, that I am always opening and listening to feedback because I want to grow. I don't want to ever get complacent. I want to continue to grow, not only my business, but as a person.
I love it. I love it. Well, if you kill this interview per usual. Shaun, thank you for joining us. Crystal, if you have any suggestions, recommendations at all for anyone that would make a good guest, you recommend them, they 2,000% will be on the show. Like, I don't even need to vet them. If you say they're good, they come on. I swear, I literally mean it. Just email me anything at all.
Okay, I certainly will be sending them your way.
Okay. Hey, thank you. Yes, sir.
Well,
Yes, sir.
I think it's like 66 days politics, but I will say vote.
Yes.
Just vote.
Absolutely.
I can't tell you who to vote for, but just vote.
Amen. Engage, vote.
The
Thank
best
you.
interest.
Thank you. Hey, are you a sports fan, Shaun?
Yes.
You miss sports?
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Me too, dude.
Yeah.
I can't
I
wait.
just...
I was about to say, don't talk about his team because we're a house divided when it comes to that.
Oh, yeah? Who are the teams?
just confused. The Cowboys.
Oh, it's the Cowboys? Are you the Washington football team?
Oh, no, sir. I'm a Steelers fan.
Oh, she's a Steelers fan. Okay, she said no, sir. She's a Steelers fan. Well, you got good taste. Shaun, I don't know about them Cowboys, but you got good taste over there, Crystal. I don't know about them Cowboys.
I'm working with them, Jerry. I'm going to bring them around.
Thank you.
We them boys.
Thank you, guys. You have a good one. Love you.
All right, you too. Thank you.
Take care. Take care. Thank you. Judah, I'm going to reach out to Scott Link. Scott Link, if you're watching now, we are Skyping you as we speak. He's the owner of Rocket Coffee, fabulous restaurant and coffee shop in Midtown on Main Street. Scott Link, we have him connected. We'll get that camera active, Scott, so we can see you on screen. And I'm excited to welcome you to the program. Scott Link of Rocket Coffee. Make sure we turn that camera on for us if we could, Scott. Oh, there we go. There we go. Gotcha.
Here we go.
Dude, you got great hair, Scott. You got good hair, man.
It's all I got left.
How's it going, homie?
It's going okay. How are you?
I'm doing well. I wanted to check in with you. Yeah, it's good to have you back. How's 2020? Talk to us about 2020.
2020 sucks.
Amen. Amen. 2020 sucks.
Yeah, it's been a real slog, but we're coming out we're seeing the tick up is starting to happen this month, so I think we'll be okay.
Rocket Coffee, his baby. It's a phenomenal coffee shop, guys, in Midtown. Support this man's business. Okay, talk to us about what you had to do, some of the changes, some of the pivots, the innovations, anything that you've been doing with the business.
Sure. So, I mean, we opened in February, so we had a really good first month as far as like hitting all the sort of indicators and numbers, and everything was good. And then March happened, and we all know what happened. And it's been. I actually shut the doors for the month of April, just so there was nobody on the streets, and reopened. Basically, I mean, I was in a good position because I could run I hadn't really staffed up. I didn't have it. My landlord's being cool about everything, and we worked that end of it out to get through this. And I just back and trim my hours a little bit so I could manage it myself. And I've just been in there every day. And this month I started to add a couple people here and there to expand. Again, we're back open. Started last week. Opened earlier in the morning during the week. So and business is responding to that. So hopefully everything keeps going the right way, and we don't see another spike here. I think Charlottesville's done a really good job at managing the pandemic, and just got to continue to do that, and we'll come out the other end eventually.
I got a question for you. I don't want to assume, that's why I'm asking this question here. Your business model, very much a grab and go type of model. Is your business in a position where once we get through this, really primed for setup because of the walk by, grab and go nature of the business?
Yeah, and that's exactly, I mean, that right away when this all went down, I spent the month of April, at home and thinking about stuff. And I realized pretty quickly that what's going to come out of the other end of this, within a lot of the restaurants are seeing it, everyone's doing takeout and delivery now. And, I was talking with Peter from Maya. And
I love Peter.
Yeah, I mean, it's a great place. And he said that he'd been wanting to do takeout for a long time, and they just never really had the time to put energy to put into it. And this forced everyone to look at that. But my business model was always set up for primarily grab and go, commuter coffee house, not the meat, not the sit and meet some of that. We just are a small shop and get it, and you're gone in 5 minutes. So if the people come back, the biggest thing is that people walk into work, and it may be still a while. I think most of UVA is going to keep their employees home through the end of the year. That's what I'm hearing anyway. I don't know. Quote me on that, but that piece is missing. The students are coming back. The grad students start to come back over the summer, and that's definitely helping. The building that I'm in, those big apartments, those are all filling up now. So all that stuff's good.
Restaurant industry is near and dear to your heart. Charlottesville, near and dear to your heart. We're both passionate about this industry. How about the future of restaurants? Some crystal ball predictions. What are you thinking?
Man, I don't think it's ever going to be the same as it was. It's hard. I think we're wearing masks for a long time. I was up near Warrenton last night and had dinner in a restaurant, and it was the first time since February that it felt almost normal. Masks aside, we sat inside in a restaurant. There were people at other tables, and it was a great meal, and we had a great time. But I think you're going to see a lot more. It's really the bar scene that's going to suffer from this. I mean, I think it's a really long time before we see people packed into crowded bars again. The restaurant dining in thing will adjust, but the problem is that, most restaurants, they need to pack those rooms every night to make their margin. If you're working at 50% capacity, that's just not sustainable for 90% of the places out there.
So
I think that's why you saw the places that have announced that they're closing, like Wild Wings and all these places, that it's just they realize, like, we're never going to be able to get the capacity sustainable to make it work.
How do you feel about Charlottesville moving forward? How do you feel about bullish, bearish? Tell us about CVille, your thoughts.
I love Charlottesville. It's still really a livable town. I think we're going to see. It's going to be interesting to see what happens with all that high-end, high-dollar rent real estate, Barracks Road and out 29. I mean, Jason's Deli closed; their signs are down. Stuff like that. What's going to happen with that kind of model? There's a lot of room. These closures are creating opportunity for people on the other end of this if you can be smart about it. I think there's definitely room for breakfast and. Lunch places still. It's the hardest meal to get in town, I think, is lunch right now, breakfast and lunch. And that's so. I think we're gonna. I think everyone's sort of like, okay, I got my feet back under me, and I'm watching the restaurants across the street from me figure out their model now, and everyone's starting to breathe again, but. It's still, everyone being really careful, and you're not going to expand. It's going to be tough. I think we're through to the end of the year before we say, okay, I think we're going to get out the other end of this, and it's just still a wait and see. It really is.
So I'm going to throw this question. For me, it's wait and see for everybody. I think you're 100% right. That was a really good take, Scott. I'm going to throw this question to you. What do we expect from Rocket Coffee, your baby, while we're still kind of in this COVID haze? And then what can we expect from Rocket Coffee, your baby, when we're out of this haze and there's sunshine? Maybe it's a vaccine, better testing, whatever it may be. Two-part question for you, Scott.
Right. So I just expanded my hours. So I'm back open 7 days a week. I'm open earlier in the morning. I want to get open later in the evening. So that's going to be the first thing. I mean, my menu is going to stay basically the way it is. I would love to add more lunch items, but until I can afford to pay 2 people to be in that shop all the time, that just can't happen. So right now it's just like what I can manage myself and what I know I can count on the 1 or 2 people I do have to manage. But once we're, sort of back to sort of, 75% and things are ticking the way they need to be, that will happen. A little more menu, more hours, more evening hours. I at one point thought about doing a weekend nighttime full dessert menu just to complement the restaurant scene that's over there. And that might happen at some point too. But and then my roasting operation going. So I'm working with a new partner on potentially doing that over the fall, and then I'll be roasting coffee, and that's my biggest expense right now is my coffee cost. So that cut down. And then, if we get through to 21 and things are looking good, then it's sort of back to plan A. What plan A is, I guess. But, just try to grow the business, in whatever way that is. So.
How about kind of a macro storyline here? It's impacted the wealth gap. Undoubtedly, the wealth gap is larger now. We certainly have a lot of social unrest in our community. I really thought Crystal was good with her take when she said, this is bringing all this stuff to the forefront and really hitting us in the face with it. How about a question for you from a country standpoint? Last 6 months, we've been on our couch probably watching more news than we all probably should to maintain our health and mental stability. What have you been watching with COVID over the last 6 months?
Just the complete and utter lack of leadership and around the pandemic. And I don't want to get into talking politics too much, but it's clear that we've missed the mark on managing this, and I think we're really fortunate in this area to not have been so hard hit with it. And we're just going to see when it starts to wane, because right now the numbers are still going up, and maybe it's flattening a little bit, but then they're learning more and more about the virus every day, and I really don't know what to expect from the next 6 months. I really am today, and that a lot of that is just being weary of the daily news feed, and watching what's happening in this, with the riots and protesting, and I support people's right to protest, and I'm behind them, and I'm behind that cause, and it's just really tough to watch it. And 6 months ago, we were sitting around with your friends talking. We were like, "This is going to get really bad," and it really is getting bad. So I hope everyone gets a handle on it, and some real changes made to affect those lives. That we're at a inflection point here in the country, and we're going to see how it goes. We're going to see what happens. So
that was a good take. That was a really good take. What do you make of UVA? What do you make? We all need UVA. I say it all the time. It's the city of UVA, not the city of Charlottesville. What do you make of UVA and how everything's been handled? Because both are businesses, like so many, impacted by UVA, Scott.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, they're the main driver of the economy in this town, and certainly the main driver of business in my, where I'm located. So I think they've been pretty cautious. I think they know that they're driving the economy here, and they have their own finances to worry about. So I think if they had their druthers, they'd probably keep everyone home. That's just my personal feeling. Like, the smart thing is just throw everything online and for a year, and just let this ride out. But I think they're trying to manage the city's needs, their own needs for income, and also the students' experience and all that. I mean, you have to put yourself in their shoes a little bit and try to understand that you're 18 years old and you've worked your whole life to get into UVA or a good school like it, and you get this year kind of taken from you. And that's tough. Life is life and throws you curveballs. But it would be a huge disappointment. I totally understand that. So I do support them coming back and having that experience, as long as they manage their risks and don't put everyone else's risks at a higher level.
Your favorite COVID-19 pastime besides this, because
besides
one of my favorite
power drinking.
I was just going to say that, Scott. Besides what I'm doing, where I'm making all the drinks that are normally doubles, quadruples, or five shots in my drinks. And then, dude, how can we ever go back to a bar with how we've been pouring drinks at home?
Yeah, I know, it's craziness. So it's going to be $20 martinis pretty soon, but. We call it Pandemic Happy Hour. So and I got my little pod of people that that we decided early on we would quarantine together kind of thing and manage our risk but have a social network, a small one. And, I don't have any family myself, and none, I don't have kids, or I'm not married and I don't have any children. So I'm alone and no family really in the immediate area. So we just sort of chose our pod and have been, lots of cooking, lots of barbecue, definitely, probably a little more wine than there needed to be. But, we still get up and get our work done in the morning. So
What's your drink of choice, Scott?
I like bourbon. I like to sip some bourbon, red wine, and I like my gimlets. So I'm a little old school in that regard.
So you're basically saying you're like me, anything that's wet.
Right.
That's what I
Sure.
like.
Yeah,
I
right
like
now it's water and coffee, but later on we'll get there. We'll get over
Amen,
that.
brother. All right, same question that we close with Crystal. So we're realist, dude. This stuff, and I was going to use a different word, but I'm trying to keep this PG-13. This stuff is freaking hard, man. We're realists, but we're cautious optimists. How about a message of hope for Charlottesville and everybody that's watching you?
Oh boy, jeez, I'm not the Chamber of Commerce here. I would just say that I just go back to what I was saying earlier about, like, I'm proud of this really buckling down and taking care of each other, and that continue doing that. And we are seeing there is a light very far away in the tunnel, but it's there and I can see that. So let's keep moving towards that light, not the other one.
Oh, I love it. You just did a hell of a job right there. Hey, you're a tremendous interview. You're refreshing. You're a great interview.
I appreciate it.
I love
Thanks
your
for having
kitty
me. I
cat
really
in
do.
the background. What's your cat's name back there?
Oh yeah, where is she? Oh, that's Nancy Sinatra.
Nancy Sinatra. Nancy Sinatra.
Yeah. So I would think all cats should be named after celebrities. So
Is that your only cat?
No, there's another one whose name is his name is Rommel. He's named after. If you saw him, you'd understand why. But the desert fox. So
Okay, there you go. Well, thank you for your time, Scott.
all right, we'll see you later, Jerry.
You did a hell of a job,
Thanks.
dude. Thank
Bye.
you. Thank you. Love those guys. Keep it local. Keep the money local. Support Renee's Boutique, guys. Rocket Coffee. Keep the money local, please. Guys, we need to. We need to do this for our community now. Get some comments in. If you want to share some comments for Scott, if you want to share some comments for Crystal, for Shaun, put them in the comment section of any of the Facebook pages you're watching the show on. Put them on Instagram, LinkedIn, Twitter, Snapchat. Send me a DM, send me an email, a text. We'll get them on air. Judah, I was really, really impressed with those two interviews. I got a couple more items out of the notebook, Judah, I want to get to before we do crystal ball predictions and comments from the viewers and listeners. So comments from viewers and listeners in about 5 minutes here on the show, guys. First, some items out of the notebook from Winston-Salem. Guys, Wake Forest is going to start football with no fans. In fact, all the ACC schools in the state of North Carolina will have no fans in the stadium to start the year. No fans in the stadium to start the year of all the ACC schools in North Carolina. The tidbit in this story that I also want to highlight is the Atlantic Coast Conference has said artificial noise will be allowed to be pumped from the stadium speakers. So this is perhaps a push for equitable home field advantage. Remember, Miami has like 14,000 people coming to home football games. Clemson, 19,000 people, home football games. UVA has 999. Virginia Tech, 999. North Carolina, no fans at home football games in September. So home field advantage is not equitable right now because of COVID. ACC is trying to bridge an equitable gap with home football by allowing home football teams to pump artificial noise through their stadium speakers to maybe level the playing field. Interesting tidbit. Another headline from college football, Blacksburg and Virginia Tech. You guys know those cutouts, and get that headline from Hokie Sports on screen if you could, please. Judah Wickower, look at the screen. You guys, have you seen basketball or the baseball games where they have cutouts of people in the stands? Well, Virginia Tech, because its athletic department is hurting right now financially, like athletic departments across America, Virginia Tech is selling those cutouts to fans. $70 will get your cutout at a home football game for Lane Stadium, Virginia Tech, for one game. $70. You get your own personal cutout at a football game in Blacksburg. I bet you UVA tries to monetize things that way as well. We'll follow it closely. And speaking of UVA, September 19th is kickoff. So Virginia Tech and the University of Virginia kick off on September 19th. And I'll tell you how much I love my wife. She sent me a text, and I bleed orange and blue. She sent me a text message before the show. It's on screen behind me. I didn't even see this headline, Mrs. Miller. But she says in this text message, the game will be televised on national television, ABC, at either 3:30 or 7:30 on ESPN. So this is a nationally televised game. The Virginia Tech matchup with UVA, a nationally televised game on the 19th, guys, on most likely ABC. I love it. The Commonwealth Clash getting the national recognition it deserves. Save $288 on Ting Fiber Internet, Judah, through ilovecville.ting.com. It is the most affordable price for fiber internet, which is the best internet in our community. You're getting a free first month and free installation. They're not offering it to anybody else, guys. We're doing it. It's game changer. ilovecville.ting.com. We'll give our good friends Judah Wickhauer, Scott Wagner of Scott Wagner Chiropractic and Sports Medicine some love. Dr. Wagner changing people's lives through chiropractic care, sports medicine, and physical therapy. Dr. Wagner, we encourage you guys to watch our newest show, the I Love CVille Daily Digest, which has launched, which is 5 p.m. Monday through Friday. You get all your news in 5 minutes or less through the I Love CVille Daily Digest at 5 o'clock. Judah, I want to go through to some viewer and listener comments. Before I get to your comments, and put them in the comment section now on Facebook, on LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Snapchat, YouTube. We're on every social platform. I mean, you literally can watch this show on any social platform possible. This is news in how it will look moving forward. Please, this is how it will look. All right, so Angelique Hawkins Jenkins joined us on Real Talk earlier this morning. That show airs Tuesdays and Fridays at 10:15 a.m. So Angelique was amazing in this interview. And she talked about Angelique's Kitchen opening up at Dairy Market and Dairy Central. Dairy Market and Dairy Central on Preston Avenue is going to be game changer. You have really good brands in this food hall. You got Angelique's, you got Chim, you got a Take It Away, you got a Dino's, just off the top of my head. Star Hill is going to have a tap room there. These dudes are doing outside yoga, they're doing drive-in movie theaters. So I truly believe when Dairy Central and Dairy Market open, you have the novelty of a new place, you have a bona fide beer brand in Star Hill coming to the city of Charlottesville. Now you can only go to Crozet and go to a tap room for Star Hill. You have really good food hall brands, you know, and Chim and Dino's and Angelique's. Take It Away Sandwich Shop is going to be there, location number 2. I am extremely curious to see how this Dairy Market, Dairy Central food hall concept, how it's going to impact Charlottesville, how it's going to impact dining in Charlottesville, how it's going to impact going out for happy hour in Charlottesville, because I truly believe it's going to have a big impact. And we know in this community that there are the most competitive industries in our community, restaurants and real estate, right? Restaurants and real estate, ton of people in there. So as more restaurants open, how will that novelty and these new restaurants impact downtown, West Main, the Corner, Belmont, Barracks, Fifth Street Station, Fry Springs, Route 29? We should follow that. The customer count, the amount of customers that are patronizing restaurants now are much smaller than they were in February. So we're adding and we're taking people away. So let's watch that. Very quickly, I want to get to some crystal ball predictions here on the I Love CVille show, and some crystal ball predictions that I want to make on this program. And first, some comments. Lisa Herndon says, everyone, please get out and vote. Marquez Johnson, what up, baby? He says, go Cowboys. We good, Jerry. Go Cowboys. I like this guy, Sean. Iris Luck says Cowboys rule. Gosh, oh no. Iris Luck says great interviews. Crystal Napier says, Tiffany Ross, thank you, and we appreciate you tuning in. We also appreciate you tuning in, Tiffany Ross. Gary Grant says, Gary Grant, I love you, Gary Grant. He says, if you want to keep the money local, you don't shop on Amazon. Amen. Amen, Gary Grant. Ain't that the truth, Gary Grant? Dorothy Martin, welcome to the broadcast, and thank you for sharing it. Kelly Jackson's encouraging me to buy it. I don't know, Kelly. Curtis Shaver, welcome to the broadcast. Rosemary Postel, welcome to the broadcast. All right, I'm going to get out of here on this note. One crystal ball prediction, and I have others that I need to get out. I'll save them for tomorrow's show because I have a conference call with an important client in 30 seconds here on the program. There's a stock in Penn National Gaming. Penn National Gaming. They formed a joint venture with Barstool Sports. Penn National Gaming is rolling out an app that is going to allow you to gamble, bet on sports. I mean, just everything you can do at a casino through an app. Penn National Gaming. I put $2,500 into this stock on Friday. This stock is starting to pop. In fact, it was up 11% the last time I checked this morning. Crystal ball prediction. Sports is coming back. Football's about to start. College football's about to start. Penn National Gaming and its new app, it's going to roll out. ROI waiting to happen. Penn National Gaming. I will give you more crystal ball predictions on this show, but I am now officially 10 seconds late to a conference call that is very important to me. Judah Wickhauer is the director. My name is Jerry Miller. This is the I Love CVille Show on the I Love CVille Network. Take care. We got a conference call.